Amid intense anti-government protests across Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has agreed to resign. The speaker has stated that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa likely to resign on 30th of July. The protesters who stormed Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's official residence have claimed to have recovered millions of rupees inside his residence. In various videos, protesters are seen enjoying music and dancing inside the presidential residence. After protesters torched the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sri Lanka's police detained 3 police for setting fire to PM Ranil Wickremesinghe's private residence amidst massive anti-government protests. The second test of the 2-match series between Australia and Sri Lanka is currently taking place at the GALLE International Stadium. On the other side, Sri Lanka is going through a severe political and economic crisis that has sparked widespread protest across the nation. The protests did not affect the players on the ground as they continue the game, despite the loud chants coming from right outside the stadium. Amid the massive outrage in the country, the protesters attacked outgoing PM Ranil Wickremesinghe's bulletproof car. The car was destroyed completely by the demonstrators who have been demanding that Sri Lankan president and his entire government to resign. The Bar Association of Sri Lanka has strongly condemned the violence that broke out during the mass protests against the government. The Bar Association president denounced the shooting at protesters, the assaults on journalists and the torching of PM's residence. The Ministry of External Affairs stated that it is closely monitoring the developments in Sri Lanka. It further stated that India supports the people of Sri Lanka as they endeavour to achieve their goals of prosperity and progress via democratic institutions, established principles and constitutional frameworks. Sri Lanka's main opposition parties are expected to hold a special party meeting to forge consensus on establishing an all-party government amid the unprecedented political turmoil as President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the PM Wickremesinghe offered to resign after protesters occupied their homes, protesting over the mishandling of the economy. Amid continuous and intense protests across Sri Lanka, the US called upon Sri Lanka authorities to take immediate action to seek long-term solutions to overcome. Sri Lanka has been reeling under severe economic and humanitarian crisis for the past couple of months. The Congress expressed solidarity with Sri Lanka and the people in this moment of crisis and hope that India will continue to assist the neighbouring country in dealing with the current situation. Congress President Sonia Gandhi in a message said that the Indian National Congress was being following with concern the evolving political situation in Sri Lanka. Manoj Sinha, the LG of Jammu and Kashmir, visited the people hospitalized after the Amarnath cloudburst and also praised the multi-agency rescue work after the tragedy. The leader expressed hope that the repair work en route to the Holy Shrine Cave will be completed by July 10th and the YATRA can be resumed soon. TMC MP MAHUA MOITRA, who has been facing a lot of criticism over her controversial remarks on Goddess Kaali, slammed BJP and asked the party to stop commenting on issues they have no clue about. Her fresh remarks come hours after the PM Modi said that Goddess blessing are with India. The BJP slammed TMC MP MAHUA MOITRA, who has been facing a lot of flack over her controversial remarks on Goddess Kaali after she asked the Saffron Party to stop commenting on issues they have no clue about.
पर दूसरी ओर टीएमसी की नेत्री और सांसद महुआ मोइत्रा ने जिस प्रकार से अपमानजनक शब्द बोले हैं, महुआ मित्रा जी के ऊपर अभी तक ममता बनर्जी ने कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की है, ना उनके खिलाफ लुकआउट नोटिस निकला है। केवल और केवल हुस्न अफरोज़ी के लिए एक ट्वीट करके किनारा करने की कोशिश की है।
Aam Aadmi Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal and Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann in the visit to the recent days to pole-bound Himachal Pradesh will hold a Tiranga Yatra in Palampur on July 12th. The visit comes in the backdrop of the Aam Aadmi Party making inroads into the political space in Haryana after winning one municipal corporation in the state after results were announced on June 22nd. Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde reiterated that his faction of Shiv Sena is fighting for the Hindutva ideology of Bala Saheb. CM Shinde also assured that he would do everything for the state of Maharashtra and back BJP by saying that the Saffron Party made him the CM. Maharashtra Legislature Secretary has issued show cause notice to 53 out of the total 55 Shiv Sena MLAs in the state. 39 are of the faction led by Eknath Shinde and 14 of the Uddhav Thackeray group. Now, one of the 14 MLAs from the Thackeray side, Santosh Bangar, joined the Shinde camp on the day of the floor test on July 4th. MLAs from both sides confirmed having received the show cause notice. The Supreme Court will hear the plea filed by Uddhav Thackeray-led SENA faction on July 11th. The plea seeks disqualification of the Eknath Shinde government. In view of the festivals, loudspeakers in religious places should be limited to their premises. Now, procession prayers or namaz in public places are prohibited. Union External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar hailed India's ongoing COVID-19 vaccination drive and said the country is capable of finding solutions while facing challenges. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear on Monday a plea filed by Telugu poet and an accused in the Bhima Koregaon Elgar Parishad case, P. Varavara Rao, challenging a Bombay High Court order that rejected his prayer for permanent medical bail in the matter. The National Investigation Agency arrested a 7th person in connection with the killing of tailor Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur in Rajasthan. Now, Farhad Mohammad, alias Babla, 31 years of age, was a close criminal associate of one of the main accused, Riaz Atari, and was an active part of the conspiracy to kill Kanhaiya Lal. The Congress accused the Modi government of abdicating its responsibility toward protecting the tribal rights and alleged that new forest conservation rules will disempower crores of Adivasis and others living in forested areas. Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh said that the new rules issued recently allow forest rights to be settled after the final approval for forest clearances has been granted by the central government. Well, the AIADMK camp supporting Palaniswamy met at his residence ahead of the Madras High Court's verdict on party treasurer O. Paneerselvam's plea against holding the General Council meeting. The Madras High Court said that it would deliver its order at 9 a.m. on Monday, an hour before the commencement of the meeting. Now, Paneerselvam had in fact filed a plea against holding the meeting. Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary said that the Agnipath scheme complements the Indian Air Force's long-term vision of being a lean and lethal force with the best manpower. Nearly 750,000 candidates have registered for around 3,000 positions in the IAF under the new scheme. The Indian Army officials have said that the Amarnath rescue operations continue the search overnight across the region. However, no further bodies were recovered. The Indian Air Force has deployed 8 helicopters for the rescue and relief operations in Amarnath. The IAF spokesperson informed that the Cheetah helicopters flew 45 sorties, inducting 5 NDRF and Army personnel and 3.5 tons of relief material while evacuating 45 survivors from the holy cave. Another FIR has been lodged against Leena Manimekalai. The police official informed that a Haridwar-based organization has lodged the FIR accusing Manimekalai of hurting religious sentiments.
ये एक संगठन है, उस संगठन के द्वारा ये तहरीर दी गई थी कि काली फिल्म की निर्देशक कोई लीना है, उन सहित बाकी 10 लोगों का नाम और दिया हुआ है, उनके द्वारा धार्मिक भावनाओं को आहत किया गया, धार्मिक भावनाओं को ठेस पहुंचाई गई। इस संदर्भ में एक तहरीर कनकल थाने में दी गई थी, तो तुरंत उस पर मुकदमा करके जो आगे की लीगल कार्रवाई वो आगे चल रही है।
4 officers of the Public Works Department have been suspended by the Punjab government after a video of the road construction from Hoshiarpur during rainfall went viral on social media. In a big move, ISRO chairman has stated that under the Space Policy 2022, imaging satellites will now be owned by private entities, unlike before when they were owned only by ISRO and Defence.
So primarily the space agency has been the only ISRO so far, so they want a private entity to come in. not only to us a supplier of space items, but more into building rockets, satellites and applications on their own and own it and operate it. So for that the government is asking to prepare a policy which we have prepared. So a space policy 2022 is already prepared, in which we allow space private entities to own and operate satellites.
PM Modi said that the mass movement for natural farming will be widely successful in the coming years, and the sooner the farmers join this change, the more they will reap its benefits.
हर ग्राम पंचायत में 75 किसानों को प्राकृतिक खेती से जोड़ने के मिशन में सूरत की सफलता पूरे देश के लिए एक उदाहरण बनने जा रही है.
PM Modi said that the same tradition of India has always stood for one India and great India, and the establishment of Ramakrishna Mission is also associated with this. On the birth centenary celebration of Swami Atmastananda, who was a former head of the spiritual organization, PM Modi noted that Swami Vivekananda lived for making India great. Days after its release, Malayalam film Kaduva has landed in controversy over certain inappropriate dialogues against differently abled persons, following which the director and the lead actor Prithviraj Sukumaran has tendered an apology. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari said an impartial and fair judicial system is the biggest requirement for free and fair democracy. He also pitched for a time limit for the development work and removing delays which can save thousands of crores of rupees of the country. The centre is now mulling purchasing an indigenous long-range unmanned aerial vehicle with launch capability being developed by a private Indian firm in partnership with an Israeli defense manufacturer. This comes after the Indian government recently put the American Predator drone deal on hold to give push to the Make in India initiative. Japan police have admitted that there were undeniable flaws with the guarding and the safety measures of the leader during his campaign in Nara city. The head of Nara Prefecture Police promised to launch an investigation to reach the core of the security lapse that presumably led to the brutal assassination of Abe. Voters went to the polls for Japan's upper house election, with the nation still in shock over the assassination of former leader Shinzo Abe. Nearly a dozen opposition parties are trying to topple the Liberal Democratic Party, which has ruled almost without interruption since the end of World War II. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Thai officials in Bangkok as the Biden administration moves to show its commitment to Southeast Asia in the face of relentless push for influence in the region from China. Blinken also signed an agreement with a Thai foreign minister expanding the U.S.-Thailand strategic alliance and partnership. An estimated 22 million tons of grain are blocked in Ukraine, and pressure is growing as a new harvest begins with the ongoing Russian naval blockade of Ukrainian Black Sea ports. Millions of tons of last year's harvest still cannot reach their destinations, leading to a situation which could lead to disruptions of the world's food supply. Hundreds of people protested for abortion rights by marching to the White House. The demonstration in Washington was organized by the Women's March, a movement that drew millions to the streets in the nation's capital and across the country the day after Donald Trump was inaugurated as president in 2017. Dutch farmers are embroiled in the summer of discontent that shows no sign of abating. The farmers are demonstrating government plans to rein in emissions of nitrogen oxide and ammonia that they say threaten to wreck their way of life. However, the plans provoked nationwide protests by angry farmers who believe that they are unfeasible and threaten their livelihood. Protesters in Sri Lanka remain in fact at the president's home, his seaside office and the prime minister's residence, saying that they will stay until both officials resign. Now, soldiers are deployed near Rajapaksa's residence, where protesters took over rooms and swam in the pool but did not appear to intervene. Israeli PM sent condolences to the people of Japan over the assassination of the former leader Shinzo Abe. The PM also called on the international community to impose sanctions on Iran for continuing its nuclear program. Around the world, Muslims are marking the end of the Hajj pilgrimage with Eid al-Adha, or Festival of Sacrifice. The faithful gathered in Mecca's Grand Mosque for dawn prayers, ushering in the holiday. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February, 43-year-old Mufti Said Ismailov, one of the Muslim spiritual leaders of Ukraine, had already resolved that he would step aside from his religious duties to fight. He was one of the dozens of Ukrainian Muslims who gathered at the mosque in Donetsk to mark Eid al-Adha, an important religious holiday in Islam. President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked the US for approving $400 million aid package for Ukraine in an address. Zelensky said that the package, which includes high-precision weapon systems, will allow them to take anti-terrorist steps to reduce the number of Russian missile strikes on Ukrainians. A mass shooting at a place in South Africa's Soweto has killed 14 people and left 3 others in critical condition. As per the police, a group of men arrived in a vehicle and opened fire on some of the patrons of the bar. Investigation in the matter is underway. India's star bowler Bhuvaneshwar Kumar becomes first bowler in T20I history to bowl 500 dot balls in power play. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar wreaked havoc on the England batting lineup during the second T20 series match in Birmingham. Now, Bhuvaneshwar gave India a perfect start, defending 171. India outplayed England once again to register a thumping 49-run win in the second T20I to take a 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. Ravindra Jadeja was a standout performer for India with his 46-run knock, which helped them post a challenging 170 for 8. Chasing the 171-run target, England were bundled out for 121 in just 17 overs. Novak Djokovic is all set to take on Australia's Nick Kyrgios in the Wimbledon men's singles final. Top seed Novak Djokovic reached men's singles finals by defending the Great Britain's Norrie, whereas Kyrgios gained a place in the finals after Spanish legend Rafael Nadal walked out due to an injury. And Italy is all set to debut against France on their Group D debut at the Women's Euro Cup. Italy will have to play without experienced midfielder Valentina Shevchenko. Now, France are amongst the favourites to win the tournament as they arrive to the competition on the back of 14 wins in a row.